Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. I want to apologize for the appearance of the video because I am here recording away from home this weekend. I wanted to get this video out here, and you can see that my usual screen is not how it would normally appear because I'm making do with basically my laptop screen and nothing else. But what I wanted to talk about in today's video is a little bit of an update of some of the things that happened basically from the blog and yesterday that went into the game, and that is going to be Blue Marvel. So a lot of this is going to be talking about Blue Marvel because he is here in the game, and I think it's worth talking about. Now you can find it in the Dark Dimensions section, right? And I think it's kind of hiding. Is it updated now? Is it? Maybe it's at the very end. There we go. Target Blue Marvel. So you can kind of see that here's in the game. This is going to be starting on Monday. We've talked at length about Blue Marvel, but the reason why I want to bring this up here today is because you can kind of see here the rewards on each of the nodes, which is really, really interesting that you can see that there's the node number 1, node 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the first 5. Now what's interesting is if you start Blue Marvel with basically using your Fantastic Four MCU and your the Quasar and Blastar, you can basically get through the first 5 nodes by having them at purple 5, which I know is a big feat for a lot of people who are probably not going to have this available right away. But you know that is the best thing to do here because if you have those characters, you'll get through the first 5 nodes. Now, node number 1 is here, and you can see that the enemies are very low powered, right? You can see right on the screen here that there's basically gear tier 18, which is pretty crazy. So Super Skrull at gear tier 18 and all the other characters. So at first glance, it really does not seem very challenging because most of us going into the Blue Marvel nodes are probably going to be having about gear tier 19,105. Maybe that's not for everyone, but for people who are basically at the end game or, I wouldn't even say gear tier 20, right? Just gear tier 19,105 should be more than reasonable. Now, going into node number 2 and 3, we have the Conqueror's nodes here with Franklin Richards, Quasar, a bunch of other enemies, but again, they're gear tier 18. So I don't expect walking into this, with a group of gear 19,105 or higher. I don't think it's going to be all that hard. Now, you can see that some of the enemies have much higher hit points, like Franklin Richards and Quasar, and you can look at it online on msf.gg with the missions tab. And it's because the reason why their power is so high is because they also have HP. Their HP is like skyrocketed like 200 to 300%. So they do have more HP than the rest of these standard characters, but by and large, their damage stats and things like that is not that bad. So that's something to kind of keep note at. There's also going to be some mods, of course, and then the Conqueror's nodes actually specifically call out a lot of the other nodes that are on the other areas, right? So we have Brimstone callouts, we have Insidious 6 callouts, Fantastic Four MCU, because these are all going to be the best teams to use. Basically, Fantastic Four, Insidious 6, and Brimstone. So that was node number 2 here. Node number 3 has a Charles Xavier. One thing that I want to point out about this one is that he has basically a 30% reduction in speed. So I looked this up online as well. You can find this. And while it looks quite threatening at first, I imagine that because his speed is so drastically reduced, that it shouldn't be that hard to get ahead of him. So it shouldn't even be that hard, I don't think. So again, you're also stuck with all of these other mods, right? So I think some of them might even have, like this one, like the Fantastic Four MCU has on spawn, offense up, and speed up. So I think that a lot of this is going to make things quite easier. On kill using F4 MCU, each ally gains 3 ability energy. That's crazy, right? So you might even have like back-to-back attacks with Franklin Richards of your own. The nodes themselves don't look terribly that terrible, is what I meant to say. Going into nodes number 4 and 5, which is specifically the cosmic sections, and these are where you're going to have the breakdown of the mods here for F4 MCU. It doesn't seem that bad, right? The nodes here, again, you're getting into like bare minimum gear 19. Like the enemies are not that high powered still. We have like less than 1,000,000 on the Super Skrull here. It's about 1.2, I guess, on the Miss Marvel Classics, but overall it just doesn't seem that bad. We have, okay, a bit of a spike here on the Insidious 6, but it just doesn't, there's 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 enemies, but like this is basically a dark dimension node, right? Where, even if you do die, you're going to come back and be able to do this again the next day. So it really doesn't seem that bad. And I'm wondering like why it's not scaled up like to gear tier 20, but that's just me. It does get a little bit harder because now we're talking about 1.2, or sorry, almost 2 million power. It's still not quite gear tier 20 range, but the challenge might be a little bit harder here by about node 5. We do have a Mephisto, and one thing I do want to point out, Mephisto in a Dark Dimension node is super irritating because I wonder if this kind of makes you want to then bring in Null. Would it be worth maybe bringing in Null instead of one of the other characters? That's like instead of, say, I mean, I guess it's too late, right? Like I've already put my purple 4 into Blastar and Quasar. And the reason why I did that was just because all 5 of them are Conquerors, which means that I can do the first 5 nodes. If I were to say put purple 5 onto Null, then that means I would not be able to start nodes 2 and 3 because Null is not a Conqueror. So that's the main difference there. But we do have a Mephisto where having a Null would mean that, that you wouldn't be able to get empowered. But I think like it probably isn't that bad. There's not a second Mephisto, so I think once he's dead, right, and then once you get past this section, it should be pretty easy. And you won't be using those cosmic characters after mission 5. So I think this is just going to be the one kind of gated, sort of hard, tough area for that section, and after that, it should be okay. And then moving forward, we have nodes number 6 and 7, which are going to be your non-mythic city. So this is going to be your Insidious 6 section here. Now, they do reward these blue marble icons, and this is what you're going to need for your red stars. And going back, actually, where were they listed? There was mission 2, and then that was it. Mission 1? No, mission 2 had one. So I guess these are going to be like checkpoints, I suppose, for the red stars. And then we have one on here on mission 4, but not on mission 5. So mission 2, 4, and then 6 here on the city section. And you can see some of the enemies on the nodes. There's a Phantom Rider. So you're going to be using Insidious 6 basically for this. And this looks pretty easy. Again, like the power levels are very low. So if you have any like 5 yellow plus Insidious 6 characters, this probably won't be very difficult for you to do. But it does jump a little bit here on mission 7. You can see that the power of the node jumps from 17 million to 49 million, which is pretty substantial. And there's also 2 nulls, which is probably going to be pretty annoying. Also, 2 apocalypses here, but you can see that the mods that you have on spawn, Insidious 6 allies gain 100% speed bar, which is pretty crazy, right? In terms of being and Shocker and Vulture gain the Insidious 6 trait. I don't know how important that is broadly because they're already usable in the raid section. These also have, it says mission type raid, so the raid buffs are going to be there. So it does make me wonder what the difference is going to be on these nodes. But you can see all the other enemies are not really that challenging. Some of these are very old characters as well, right? Like over a year old or more in some cases here. So that part of it doesn't seem so bad. Honestly, to me, the biggest deal is going to be the nulls. Now, keep in mind that since these are raid nodes, if there are any characters on these nodes, they have raid buffs, which I don't see really. Maybe Red Goblin, but I don't think that any other characters really have like raid characters in their text here. I don't see any. That's just the same thing to look out for, was that if they did, then it's possible that they could have got the text buffs for their kits as well. So that's mission 7 with the raids. And then we have mission 8 and 9, which is going to be for Brimstone. And again, it looks like we have another one of these blue marble icons, which are going to be for the checkpoints for earning the red stars for blue marble. And then we have some Liberty. Now, this is interesting, right? Because I did say that war buffs are active. So you're going to be using your Brimstone. You're going to want to use your Brimstone. But you're up against other characters with raid buffs, it would seem. You have some Liberty members here. You have Ancient One. You have Cosmic Ghost Rider, who's also war. Alpha Flight's also war. There's a lot of Liberty in here, in fact. A bunch of Sasquatches. Absolute A-Force, right? Corey and Medusa are war. We have Miss Marvel Classic, who are war. So this would definitely be like a nightmare if you are not using Brimstone, because you'd be going up against other characters that have their war buffs without your own. So absolutely make sure that you're considering Brimstone for this section. Otherwise, I do feel that it's going to be an absolute nightmare going forward. There's just so many war characters in here that it won't be a fun time. Going forward to the second to last node, we have 111 million power. This is where things seem to be getting tougher a little bit. As far as the enemies go, we have some Blast Stars, we have some Sue Storms, we have a bunch of Black Knights, we have like basically the Fantastic Four MCU stacked up here. Lots of them. So this is going to definitely be the hardest section with the Brimstone team, and hopefully they have what it takes to get through this. Now, the unfortunate accident that you guys know that happened to my account was that I accidentally upgraded my Iron Fist World War II with purple 5. So I'm kind of stuck and hope it doesn't screw me that much when I'm doing that, because now I'm going to have 4 Brimstone with Iron Fist and Iron Fist World War II, and there's a lot of tough enemies on these nodes, so I guess I'm just going to have to power through that and hope for the best with the 4-man Brimstone team. We have some Scarlet Witch zombies. That's going to suck with war buffs because they, I believe, stop on spawn. They stop speed bar mechanics. I'm pretty sure, like on spawn speed bar mechanics and things like this, or any speed bar mechanics, unless they're under 50%, unless she's under 50% HP. There's a bunch of other Undying characters, some Zugs there, more Fantastic Four MCU popping up throughout. So this is a very, very rough node. Another Blastar, some more it's crazy, crazy amounts of Fantastic Four in this node. And then finally we get to node number 10 with Blue Marvel. And this is interesting. This Blue Marvel here has like 720 million hit points. I looked this up online. That's why his power level is 27 million, because his HP is through the damn roof. Now, as far as other enemies that go with him, they do have some Brimstone characters, so that's like the latest from last patch, right? We have a bunch of war characters. We have some Old Man Logans, a lot of tanks. These are all tank characters. Living Mummy. We have Captain Britain. We have Absorbing Man, more Living Mummies, Captain Britain's, some Sebastian Shaw, so tons of tanks to get in the way of you actually killing Blue Marvel. So this, we'll see. Like the beginning parts look super easy, and then like I would say up to node 5 honestly looks pretty easy, except for that Mephisto here on node 5 with the cosmic section. But other than that, I guess it's just select nodes that seem like it might be a little bit harder. Overall, though, I was just a bit surprised that we saw this at the gear tier 18 level to start. Even the first kind of 3/4 nodes, they seem pretty easy power level wise, but maybe that was intended, I guess. It just seems very similar to how they laid out Odin on Dark Dimension 8, where, some people were getting through that with like gear tier 18 or bare minimum 19 at that time anyways, where, 19 was still a thing. Now we're up to the gear tier 20 area, but of course, having gear tier 20 on some of your characters doing Blue Marvel is going to make it significantly easier for you. And before we end the video, I do want to bring you guys to msf.gg, where you can actually see the maps for target Blue Marvel. The only reason why I'm kind of bringing you guys here is because you can kind of see the rewards in a little bit better fashion than you can in game. So they do kind of show off the first time and the timed rewards. And as you can see here, of course, you do get the 5-star Blue Marvel that's guaranteed on the first time, and you do get a little bit of purple 4 and purple 5 ions alongside some purple crystals, which ion crystals, which honestly is not very good because you're only getting 6 of these level 3 crystals, when realistically they should be giving you like level 5 crystals at this point here, but it is what it is. And then you can see on the timed run below that you get 500 shards, more of the same, right? Purple 5, a little bit more purple 5 and purple 4. And that's fine and dandy. One thing that is absolutely missing from this, though, is that there's no red stars. It appears that there is 0 red stars given out for Blue Marvel. So if you don't happen to get his red stars from his Race to Blue Marvel milestone, then you're going to be shit out of luck when you actually unlock Blue Marvel later on, after that milestone goes away. So that's a little bit of a concern to me. And maybe that's something that we'll have to talk about later Monday onwards when the event actually goes live. Now, of course, for me, what am I actually going to be able to do? Not a whole lot. I mean, I'm probably going to be able to do the first 2 nodes, right? I don't have purple 5, of course, but I do have 1 and 2 that I'll be able to do. And I guess because there's a Blue Marvel icon on here, I will actually be able to get some red stars for him. And I do hope that before the event goes away, that I'd at the very least be able to clear this node 4 and node 5, because I am planning on upgrading my cosmic characters first. So that, I think they're going to give 2 months for this milestone. If that's the case, then I should reasonably be able to get through the first half. That's what I would think. If I'm lucky, we'll see. Actually, because this is city level 4, there's actually a good chance I'm going to be able to do mission 6 as well, because I do have quite a lot of purple 4 ions. I just don't have a lot of purple 5, obviously, so I won't be able to get to node number 7, where there actually seems to be another Did I miss this at first? Maybe there's a blue marble icon on every note. Weird. Okay, it didn't load. Okay, my apologies, guys. So back when I said this earlier on, it didn't load right away on my screen. I swear when I scrolled over it. Okay, so there's one on 2, but not on 3, but there is on 4, and there isn't on 5, but there is on 6 and is on 7. Okay, I didn't notice that right away. So this is probably where I'll end up getting to. I think mission 6. You think I'll be able to clear this, but whether or not I'll be able to clear mission 7 before the milestone goes away, that's going to be another question. And then I guess is there a total of 7 of them? That's what I'm wondering. So let's say there's 1 red star here, 2 red stars, 3 red, 4 red, 5 red, 6 red, and that makes sense. So every blue marble icon is going to be 7 red. So if you get to mission 6 and clear this, then you'll be able to get a 3 red blue marble. That's what it sounds like. So you'd actually have to get all the way to mission 7 in order to get a 4 red. So that's something that's worth noting. There's 7 of these icons. That makes sense that it's going to be a 1 red star per icon that you obtain through this mission. Interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below about Target Blue Marble. This is going to be going live on Monday, of course. We'll maybe have some videos out maybe tomorrow night or something by the time I get back home. Otherwise, that's it for now, everyone, and I'll see you guys all on the next video.